you can still have Batman, and Batman is still doing his thing, but he kind of has a different role now of being kind of a leader, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And also, Justice League is going to have our favorite Aquaman.
Yeah. Aquaman. He's your favorite?
Do you know who's playing Aquaman?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Why did I even have to? Yeah.
I don't know why she had to ask.
I'm
going to do this here. I love it. Okay.
Anomaly. I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
I am an anomaly. I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
An anomaly.
Anomaly. Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. An oddity, peculiarity, irregularity, inconsistency, incongruity, a rarity.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the Anomaly Podcast. I'm Angela.
Jen.
And we're here to talk about Suicide Squad.
If you weren't clear, just check out her hair.
And also, you wore like that style.
Oh, I did. Like
shirt.
Baseball shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I need a bat.
You do need a bat. We have a bat.
Why didn't you give it to me? Could have used the bat as a prop.
You needed the bat as a prop.
I did.
That would be awesome. Well, we saw it about a week. It was like a week or two ago. Week and a half ago.
Yeah.
In celebration of my birthday. So that was pretty awesome.
Hey.
Okay. Anyway, so we're talking about Suicide Squad. And what is your first impression?
Harley Quinn was the movie. Even though there was just a touch of her.
Just enough.
She was a spice that enhanced the whole thing.
Well, yes,
that was the biggest impression to me. I really liked
it. I agree with that too, but I also think that, there's been a lot of hoopla about this movie for two reasons. One, because of the whole Jared Leto sending people dead rats and condoms thing. And the other thing was that all of the critics, evidently, were just panning the movie and hated it. And
critics hate everything, especially the things we like.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true, but I think that this was a good movie. I feel like the movie was not... It wasn't bad. It was exactly what it was supposed to be. It was a good, fun, action, summer, blockbuster movie about superheroes. And I thought it was good. I liked Will Smith. If I was in charge, would I have done some things different? Sure. But I think it was a really fun movie, and I really liked it. What would you have
done different?
Oh, gosh. For one, I wanted to get into this a little bit later.
Okay, well, we'll do it later.
So, because there was a couple things with Harley that I would have changed.
Yes, we discussed this, and I agree.
And I wouldn't have changed anything that already existed. There's just some things that I would have added with her. The other thing is that, well, I think it might have, deserved another cut, basically. Another, kind of like we talked about with Star Trek, another polish. I'd be interested to see if there's a director's cut. You know how they always have a director's cut that comes out. I'd be interested to see how that happens. So, what's the basic story? If you don't know, what you probably do, is just that a bunch of super bad guys are in prison, and this woman has figured out a way. Okay, so Amanda Waller is this government official, kind of secret, dark government official, and she has this idea of how to control all of these bad guys, and and use them for good. Her first bright idea has to do with the Enchantress, and this, I feel like it was ill-conceived. It was an ill-conceived plan on her part, I feel like. And what's cool, though, is that character ends up becoming the main antagonist. So you think she's going to be, one of the Suicide Squad, but she's actually the main antagonist, which is, I think, I thought that was cool. I mean, that's fun. That's a fun way to do it. And then you have the guy who played Colonel Flag, which I'm sure is an actual character from the universe
or something.
Colonel Flag is from MASH, right?
He's a MASH type, I guess.
No, there is an actual Colonel Flag in MASH who is like a comic character.
Kenny, Meds, Al.
They will know.
They will know. MASH 4077 podcast? Yes, I know
that they have that podcast, and I watched enough MASH in my time to know that that's a character, and it's kind of a fun. He's not on every episode, but he comes in and he's like a CIA agent, and his bit on the show, because it's mainly a comedy, is that he comes in and like if he gets injured or something, he has like incredible pain resistance. He's like, I don't care.
It's been a while.
So anyway, I couldn't stop thinking. I couldn't stop thinking about that while I was watching the show. Every time they said like Colonel Flag, I was like, oh, okay. So that was distracting. Yeah. But anyway, so there was that and the Enchantress, and so who do we have? We have here I have them all in front of me. Okay, we have Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. We have Will Smith playing Deadshot. We have Captain Boomerang. We have Katana.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more Katana.
I would have liked to see more Katana. We also have
Viola Davis.
Oh yeah, Viola Davis is the one who plays Amanda Waller. Uh-huh. So we have the Enchantress and her brother are but he doesn't really come into it until a little bit later. And who else? Oh, Killer Croc. I kind of liked Killer Croc. That was pretty fun. And the guy who plays, what's his name now? Diablo. I really like that character.
You'll have to remind me.
Diablo is the guy, the fire guy, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Me too.
We like Diablo.
I super like that character. Yeah. Even though he did some horrible things. Anyway,
but that's what all of them do. Okay, so.
I have a reason why this movie resonated with me. And it's the same reason why I like Jedi.
Okay.
It's because the bad guys kind of go good. But it's not like they were forced to it, but in the end, spoiler alert, they kind of chose it. And I like the way their characters were written. It's because, most of the time in fiction, you don't know enough about the villain and they're kind of weak. But in this case, you know enough about them. You know why they chose the paths they did and that they're kind of damaged goods and that their choices aren't always because they're evil. It's because something set them on that path.
Put them that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes you...
you really do feel for them.
You really
what's
the word I'm trying to say? There's
you
some
empathize
sympathy.
with them?
Yeah, empathy.
Yeah, and
a lot of times I didn't want to like them, but I did.
Well, I mean, it really humanized all of them, and it was kind of the things that, became their weaknesses as far as Amanda was concerned, were the things that make you like them.
Yeah.
And then also, like, by the end, you really wish one of them would snap and tear her head off. Like, you really...
She did.
I really did. I was like, somebody please kill her.
Well, I
was thinking,
I think that scene...
She can't kill all of you. One of you.
Somebody take her out. It's like that scene where she just... pop, 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 and that was the what?
And that
was the shock factor, though. I mean, we had the reaction they wanted us to have.
Exactly, we wanted one of them to kill her.
Yeah, at that moment, somebody should have just torn her head off.
I know. I mean, I know. Obviously, that can't happen, but
it wouldn't have been a good movie.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And let's talk about the Joker because.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I
fix my pigtails while you do that.
First of all, when we were talking about rooting for the villains, I really didn't like the Joker in this movie, but I found myself wanting her to be with him because they both seemed to be a match made in hell. And I don't know, I wanted her to get away so that she could be with him because he seemed to have some weird connection to her, genuinely care in some weird, sick way.
He seemed to genuinely care for her, which is...
genuinely care in an obsessed way.
Well, in their world...
Which he was. Well, he did kind of try to pimp her off on that one dude.
He killed her. He killed him though.
Because he wouldn't take her.
No, I think
he said, "She's yours, Jay.
You know what?
She's your woman."
I think he was going to kill her no matter what. He was just messing with him.
No. See, what do you think?
Kill him.
Let me tell you what I think about the Joker in this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
I am old school. I like Jack Nicholson in his portrayal of the Joker, but he brought his own flavor. You know, all the actors that play them have to bring their self to the character and make it their own. So I get that. And Joker is kind of a pimp. I mean, he dresses like one, and he's kind of nuts, and I don't know. He's got style, and I guess that's kind of the spin they were going for, the gangster kind of thing. But at the same time, he was a beast. Yeah? He was a beast. And the snarling girly talk that he was doing, I don't know if I liked that part of the acting. What did you think about it?
It was an interesting choice. I feel like directing and acting choices are, you're not sure, I'm not sure which one pushed him that way. Because somebody has to design the character. Yeah. I mean, actors can sometimes have some input on how they look and what they do, but directors and designers also have some idea for direction. And so, you know, the thing that gets me with this is that he has now kind of come out. Well, first he made this huge deal about how he was method acting, which is that's not what method acting is. By the way, I actually went to school, and that is not what it is. Well, acting like a jerk to your... And anyway, it's become kind of overblown, and I read this really cool article about it, about what this means for what a method actor is. And this is just not it. It's just you are using this as an excuse to just be a jerk to your fellow castmates. I don't think... You can still perform your job without acting like that. And so it's weird is that he acted like afterwards he's like, oh, well, first of all, he starts with, oh, I'm doing this thing and I'm getting into character and there's all these stories about how I'm being a jerk and, oh, well, it's just my craft, blah, blah, blah. And then after the movie comes out and all these critics are like panning it, we get this situation where he's like, oh, well, you know, nothing turned out the way that I thought it was going to, and I was tricked into doing the movie and all this. I totally saw him do that. Yes. So he has all this stuff, and it's like, you know what? If people would have loved the movie, it would have been like his showground or whatever. I think it was cool choices. I think what the thing is that I think there were several different parts to the story and several different versions of the story, and I think that the Joker played in probably more in one of the original versions, which is probably what he signed up for. And then what turned out was just now he's kind of he's barely a supporting or featured character, where he's Harley's boyfriend who comes and rescues her. I mean, that's what it is. And the thing is that the amount of effort and ridiculousness and the acting and all that went into, you know, this much of the movie, it just was disproportional, I think. But I do think it was cool, and I liked his performance in that. I think it matched everything else stylistically. You know, I mean, I don't think it was bad. I mean, I can understand why you didn't like it, but I didn't think that it was bad. No, I didn't think it was bad. I just don't think it's... it didn't resonate with me. That's fair. It resonates the word of the day, by the way. And I don't, the thing is, though, is that, I didn't go into it expecting, some kind of... I had no expectations. Catharsis, you know? I just wanted to kind of see a fun movie, and I felt like his part in it was good. It was good. It was good, you know? Now, what about Harley Quinn? Oh, she was so cute. Let's talk about her character and... First, what you thought they could have done better, but what they did right with... First, where did Margot Robbie come from? She's flippin' adorable, right? She's so cute, and she's so good, and perfect for that little situation. Also, we heard the rumors after Batman vs. Superman that they actually did reshoots of this movie in order to make it more fun, and it was probably all on her to do that. Oh, I bet you anything. She did that. That she was the comedy relief. She was the only comedy relief, because everything else was the storyline that I find, I'm sorry to jump around, but the storyline with Diablo, right after we saw it, I was hanging out with one of the guys I work with, and he doesn't have kids. And he was like, oh, I just thought Diablo was so whiny, la la la. And I was like, dude, think about, I was like, he was one of my favorite characters because imagine that you have this power and you know that you're a bad guy, but you're using it. And then one day, the only people you love make you angry and you accidentally blow them up. That would mess with your head, and you would not be able to know. And he knew what he was capable of. I thought it was very interesting when they put up like his card when it's like so and so likes this, and oh, the pink unicorn, that was funny for other guy. Anyway, and his was, they didn't know what he could do. You know, they had seen him do. You know, they knew he could throw fire.
Yeah. They
knew, but that whole thing, like what happens at the end, where he actually becomes like a fire beast, basically, like devil himself. Nobody except for him knew that he was capable of doing that. And so that would torture a person. And that explains how he was acting. His I don't know, explains his mood. It explains why he didn't want to fight.
Well, he also had given it up for him. I mean, he had given it up. Just he wanted to die in peace.
Yeah,
and
he just wanted to die in peace. I love that. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I thought he was one of the best. At the end when all that was happening, I like literally cried. I did. I was taken in by his character and his story completely.
Me too.
And maybe it is because I'm a parent.
I think I like him. I liked him. His story a little. I mean, they kind of did something similar with Deadshot. You know, kind of tugged with the child thing.
Yeah.
And it made a connection. You know, a really emotional connection as well. But I think they tried to make. The difference was that they tried to make him sociopath. It seemed sociopath, but he really wasn't. And it was Harley Quinn kind of who diagnosed him as that at one point. But then you see, if he was a sociopath, there would be no way he would love his daughter.
That's true.
So he's not.
Right.
But anyway,
that's interesting. Yeah.
I like the two different, because they're both using children in this case to make you empathize with the character, but in two different ways.
Right.
So
yeah, I get that. But anyway, back to Harley. Sorry. My thing with her is that, okay, the premise of Harley in the stories is that she's a doctor. And first of all, side note, sorry, I keep doing this. So
Sexy
both
doctor.
of the doctors are 22 years old.
Well, we do.
Really? Yeah. The 22-year-old women, both the doctors in the movie.
They're also the kind of...
No, they're beautiful, and they did a good job. I think they did a good job on the acting. You felt for them. They embodied these like crazy characters really well. But Hollywood, come on. Anyway,
With Harley.
Let's say Harley, the whole point is that she's a doctor. So regardless of, graduating from medical school when she was 18, let's suspend our disbelief on that. She goes in, she's helping the Joker, and she's, being his doctor. And then through all of this, she falls in love, and then he kind of brainwashes her one way or another, and then she goes completely crazy.
Him.
Well, but I don't know if that happens in the books, but anyway, I'm trying to the whole
Shock
story.
therapy.
But does that happen in the books?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. One way or another,
so.
she either falls for him or he tricks her or something, and now she's crazy and will do everything that he says, and she's just completely in love with him. Okay, so let's say stick with that premise. She still is a doctor. There's still parts of her. She still has that, and I always find that bad guys who are smart psychologists, doctors, are some of the most scary bad guys. Like you get your like Hannibal Lecter kind of thing, and like I watch a lot of crime shows, and there's always that one serial killer who almost knows better than the people that are studying him, and it's really scary. And the thing is that how cool would it be if Harley, was popping bubble gum and twisting it, and then 5 seconds later, she was in almost a not dual personality, but she could, diagnose you, and she could flip into that and get in your brain, and
reverse psychology.
Yeah, they could. Yeah. She could mess with you in that way, and then she's very obviously she has feelings for the Joker. I like when Enchantress, who has very similar powers to Scarlet Witch, by the way, gets into everybody's heads, and they all have their kind of fantasy of what they want. And Harley's fantasy is just to be. I liked that.
I did too.
And I know it's kind of trite.
It was.
And silly.
I think it was meant to be, but that was her dream.
Here, that's her dream.
Yeah.
That's what she wants. And maybe the Joker tricked her into wanting that, but that's what she wants, and that's okay with me. That's okay with me.
I think it was okay with me too.
But, there's still that part of her in there that knows all of these things, and so I think it would be cool to kind of show her slip in and out of this, like, psychosis, and then have moments of lucidity, because they tried to do it. Like, when she said the thing about, classic psychopath or whatever, what if they would have gone,
she said, own it. She was telling...
And when she was telling him to own it, like, they tried, they started. Yeah,
she needed more of that.
And I wish they would have had a few more little scenes where she... And I'm not saying to write, like, a soliloquy or anything like that, but just, like, between the gun popping, have, like, a moment, just a moment. I don't know, I just think that would have been so cool, and they missed an opportunity there. Of course, it could have gone on forever. But what was the other thing? No, I think that was it with Harley. I mean, we kind of all agreed about that when we saw it. We saw the movie with Jen and Stephanie.
I had another point about her character that I would have liked to see. I mean, because it seemed like the whole Joker... they were important. The Joker was important to her story.
Yes.
So I would have liked to have seen the moment where she fell in love with him in those flashbacks.
Yes.
Because it's kind of unbelievable for me that a doctor would be that infatuated with a beast, especially the way he was playing it. So I would have liked to have seen him mind trick her in some way. You know, like use psychology against her, and like a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing.
Well, that reminded me of another thing with her that I wanted them to do, is that, and this was such a design thing that bothered the other Jen, little Jen. I didn't say little. Sith Jen.
She was called Little Jen.
I know. So Sith Jen and I were talking about it, and because both of us are costume designers, and I would have wished that they would have made her in those scenes, to your point, more studious, like actually.
That's what I was talking about.
Instead of having this sexy doctor. The sexy doctor. Here's my glasses, and I'm so cute. Like, instead of that,
still be sexy doctor, but
she with a little more prim
serious.
And more serious, and having her hair up like an actual bun instead of the falling sexy bun, and have her, the shirt all the way.
She looked like she's trying to seduce him.
And then her legs crossed at the feet, yes. and then she's taking, and then like kind of slowly seeing her go from that to the other.
That would have been good.
That would have made more sense, and then you would have seen that transition. But they were hurrying to get to, let's see Margot Robbie in hot pants, like that. They wanted that so bad that they didn't let you have that nice transition. Yeah. So I hear she's getting her own movie.
I would see that.
I don't know. It needs to be written correctly.
True.
I love her.
Smart. Let's see her smarter.
I would love her, and I want to see more, but I want it to be done correctly. But I don't know that I could see a whole Joker movie of that Joker. I couldn't do it.
So you're with me then?
No, I'm not.
What is it then?
Because he's fine for what he is in the movie.
Yes.
I just don't want...
That's too much. It's overpowering.
I don't want a whole movie of that. I don't want a whole movie of that.
That's my point. It was too much.
And I love that she brought back pigtails.
Yes.
I won't be wearing these.
She rocked them.
I won't be wearing these to work. But anyway, yeah. So it's not that I disagree with you. I think he was fine for the movie. Do we? You don't agree with that?
No, I think it was overacting. I think it's overacting.
I think he was overdirected.
Okay.
Agree to disagree.
I don't know. I don't know whose decision it was to do the beastly growling and breathing thing. Because that's not the Joker. I mean,
yeah, they were creating a Joker for this universe.
But it doesn't. What I needed to know, what I needed to believe, is that Harley Quinn could fall in love with him.
Right. Okay.
And that didn't work for me. It did not convince me that she could fall in love with that kind of a person.
Okay.
So for me, it didn't.
Except for they just said that she did.
Yeah, it's like okay, but I guess that wasn't important to most of the viewers. Maybe we're not the demographic. Let's be honest. They
But we still liked
they
it.
don't make superhero movies for us.
And we paid money to see it.
Except Wonder Woman, which I'm looking forward to.
I am too. Yeah, you need to see Batman vs. Superman.
I know. See, this is an
Also,
instance where the critic reviews made me not want to see it because Superman is one of my absolute favorite characters. And when they do Superman wrong, it makes me angry. And I don't want to see a Superman movie that makes me angry.
We need to have, and I would like to maybe invite Rico to this. Okay. I want to have a podcast.
Chris is also a favorite Superman fan.
Okay, so maybe Chris as well, because I'd like people who were more into the comics than we were. But I kind of had a small conversation with them on one of the Treks and Sci-Fi posts about Golden and Silver Age comics being updated into now, and how that's a square peg situation. Yeah. And that's why I think we are getting so many of these like critical reviews, is I think that people miss the point. I think the people who are creating the movies miss the point, and I think the people that are being critical of it miss the point. And I think it might be kind of an interesting discussion to talk about.
I heard your points, and I completely agree with what you say. Share a little bit for the peoples.
Well,
just a preview of what we want to do.
Sure, because I'd like to get more.
Rico and Chris.
Okay, because I'd like to get more into it with these guys, but my point is just that almost similar to, some judging like Star Trek TOS against TNG. Like, it's this, they were made for different eras. And so I feel like Superman is this perfect, for the time that he was created in, is a perfect man, the hero, and honest and good and American and all,
American.
But I'm saying, like, when he was created, that was very important and that was sellable, and that's what the society wanted and needed and related to and wanted to get behind. But then you get further in and you get, the Batmans and these Marvel characters that are all conflicted and they have just as much baggage as some of the villains that they're fighting. They just kind of chose to go a different way with it. And so I think that it's unfair when you try to do these updates of somebody like Superman to try to give him angst. I think you shouldn't. And
I think they did, like, the Captain America is what Superman is, only in the Marvel universe. And the way they treated his character, he's still the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
But he still has flaws.
Sure.
They should approach Superman the way Marvel has approached Captain America, because basically they're similar in that way. And I think bravo to Marvel for the way they handled it.
Well, so, I do agree with that, but it's not just Marvel.
But I will watch the movies, so
right, and I think that you should watch the movie, and also because, as all of you know, there was a huge spoiler at the end of Batman vs. Superman, and when Suicide Squad started, I had to spoil it. I was all, by the way, Jen, this happened.
Well, I did know that it happened in the comic books, so I just don't know how, and I have seen previews for the next film, and all of a sudden, not the case. So I'm confused.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What a world we live in. It's like Days of Our Lives.
It is. Like Marlena.
Like Marlena.
She's possessed one minute.
The new John
she's
Black.
Dead, and then she's alive again, and oh my lord.
I hope there's someone out there that gets these references.
There are. Michelle, for one. Michelle, I know. She watched soap operas.
I love it. Okay, well, was there anything else that you particularly... the soundtrack to this freaking movie.
The grunge girls here, we were in for... we were like singing along.
And not just that, but like
7 Inch Army.
And 70... Oh!
Like all of it.
Like every...
And then going back to the 60s and then You Don't Know Me, Oh.
Yeah, this soundtrack...
They did well.
I think it's one of those where not only does the soundtrack kind of stand alone as a cool album, like a mix album, it's also like it was so note perfect for every scene, when they're all getting back in their gear and they're playing the
mood when you get the
Eminem song.
Music. Yeah.
I think
they did
brilliant.
They took kind of like a page from the Guardians of the Galaxy with their soundtrack and how they used it, and that I love. I'm a fan of that.
Oh, me too.
Soundtrack. If you're not going to score it originally, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. That was so good. So good from beginning to end. And then it does have a little scene at the end.
Yes.
That previews the next movie, which is the Justice League movie. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's
I'm looking forward to that.
Very interesting.
Super Friends.
And you know what? Even though we didn't review Batman vs Superman, we probably won't officially.
Well, I think of this discussion we have with the guys, it'll help. You know, we can call it a review.
I liked Affleck.
I have seen clips of him. I like him too.
It didn't doesn't bother me. I think he's a fine Batman, and also I think part of me is a little bit biased just because he's our age, and I like the idea of them aging out Batman a little to these new characters, and the idea that you can still have Batman, and Batman is still doing his thing, but he kind of has a different role now of being kind of a leader, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And also, Justice League is going to have our favorite Aquaman.
Yeah. Aquaman. He's your favorite?
Do you know who's playing Aquaman?
Oh yes. Okay. Why did I even have to? Yeah.
I don't know why she had to ask.
I'm
gonna do this here. I love it. Okay. Well, the next show we do is going to be about Stranger Things.
Yay! That is when we'll also answer some really cool messages that we've gotten recently, and also we want to thank those people who sent us Apple reviews.
And the other thing
iTunes reviews.
is that Casey and Sue are both going to be
at
DragonCon. Yeah. So please look all of that up. I'll try to put the links in this post.
Yeah, she has.
I'll make sure to
her
link
schedule.
Everything. She
so
did.
If you're going to be there, go visit her.
Yes,
go watch her panel. She's going to be on 16.
Gosh, is Casey also on 16 panels? Or just
I don't know. Just Sue. Sue likes
panels. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to do panels.
You know, we should.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
One day. We'll level up to panels. Okay. All right. I'm Angela.
And I'm Jen. And you've been watching the Anomaly podcast, where female and fandom converge.